Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to our Tafseer class. We are doing the kitab known as Tafseer Al-Jami'u li Ahkam al-Qur'an, but which we better know as Tafseer Al-Qurtubi of Imam Al-Qurtubi rahimahullah. And we are doing the Tafseer, or at least we began last week, the Tafseer of Surah Al-Mutaffifin. We read the first three ayat and we began the Tafseer on that topic. Now, Imam Al-Qurtubi rahimahullah had mentioned that there were some points he wanted to bring up. We covered two of those points. So tonight, inshallah ta'ala, we are starting from the third point. So let us begin. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. So he says الثالثة قال أهل اللغة المطفف مأخوذ من الطفيف وهو القليل والمطفف هو المقلل حق صاحبه بنقصانه عن الحق في كيل أو وزن. So Imam Al-Qurtubi, he now speaks from a linguistic perspective. He says the linguists, they explain what is a mutaffif. A mutaffif comes from the word tafif, which means qalil, means a little. So a mutaffif, he's a muqallil, the one who gives short with regards to his companion. In other words, he gives less to his companion. Now, companion don't mean companion, but it means to the next person that you are dealing with. So he gives less to the person that he's dealing with than what he should be giving. So بِنُقْصَانِهِ عَنِ الْحَقِّ فِي كَيْلٍ أَوْ وَزْنٍ. Linguistically, the word is used for weight and measure. But obviously, like we did last week, it would apply across the board as far as we can apply. But primarily, when we use the word in Arabic, then it refers to weight and measure. So he says وقال الزجاج إنما قيل للفاعل من هذا مطفف لأنه لا يكاد يسرق من المكيال والميزان إلا الشيء الطفيف الخفي وإنما أخذ من طف الشيء وهو جانبه. So Imam al-Zajjaj, one of the other linguists, he says the person who robs a person in this way, on the scales, he is called a mutaffif. Why is this? He says because لا يكاد يسرق من المكيال والميزان إلا الشيء الطفيف الخفي. Because what he manages to steal by not giving you your full right is only a small hidden amount. Like I gave you the example last week, you're buying a 10 kg potatoes and it comes out like 9.5 kg, 9.2 kg. So a person can't exactly pick up a bag and say, this is 10 kg, this is 9.5 kg. Not everybody can do that. Some people can, but generally people can't. So you come there, you buy a bag of potatoes. Maybe you even feel, hey, it feels a bit light this time, but it's in a 10 kg bag. So you take it and you go on your way. You don't exactly weigh to see this is 10 kg. So if obviously there was 7 kg in there, everybody can feel the difference between a 10 kg and a 7 kg because it's a larger amount. But when there's 3-4 potatoes missing and it brings it down by 500, 600, 700, 800 grams even, you don't really feel it that much. So that is what at-tafif al-khafi, the small amount. Like I gave the example also with the meat. And a person come and you ask them for 100 rand chops, for example. So he throws the meat down, 100 rand mince over there, and then he with the chop that he's throwing down, the cutlet over there, he puts some bones in, or he presses a bit on the scale. So at the end of the day, it's a small amount that he robs you with. So it's not like he's putting 130 rand and giving you actually only 100 rand. He'll make it maybe 100. He's giving you 97 rand and he's charging you 100 rand, that sort of thing. So it's a tafif al-khafi, a small amount which is easily hidden. If it was something big, like I say, you come there, you are buying 10 kg and the man give you a 5 kg bag, then nobody on earth is so dumb, unless you jack in the beanstalk and somebody's going to give you 5 beans and you're going to believe that this is equal to the price of a cow. So unless you are from jacking the beanstalk, no sane human being is going to believe that 5 kg bag is a 10 kg bag of potatoes. You can see it's a small amount. You can feel it's a light amount. So a person can't rob you that way. So the robbing, the mutaffifin that is spoken of here is when you do it in a hidden form, that it's a small amount so that the person that you're dealing with don't even notice that you are robbing them. That's what allows the mutaffifin to continue, because people are not noticing that they are robbing them in this way. So they give you short change, and as we did all the examples last week. So that is, he says, وَإِنَّمَا أُخِذَ مِنْ طَفِّ الشَّيْءِ. He says that this word mutaffif linguistically is taken from the word طَفِّ الشَّيْء, the tough of something, which means the side. In other words, like you steal from the edge. You don't take, when you're taking something from the edge, think of it in the sense of a plate of food. When you take something from the edge, you can slap it out. You're not putting your hand into the center and taking a big chunk out like that. You're just slapping some grains of rice down from the side. So that is how the mutaffif linguistically comes in. He says, وَطِفَافُ الْمَكُّوكِ وَطَفَافُهُ بالكسر والفتح ما ملأ أصباره وكذلك طف المكوك وطففه وفي الحديث كلكم بنو آدم طف الصاع لم تملؤوه وهو أن يقرب أن يمتلئ فلا يفعل والمعنى بعضكم قريب من بعض فليس لأحد على أحد فضل إلا بالتقوى. Okay, so yeah, we're doing a lot of linguistics again tonight, but nonetheless, it's important. Otherwise, you wouldn't be mentioning it in this sense. So he says, وَطِفَافُ الْمَكُّوكِ وَطَفَافُهُ بِالْكَسْرِ وَالْفَتْحِ. That طفاف and طفاف, you can read it with a kasra or with a fatha. ما ملأ أصباره. وكذلك طف المكوك وطففه. So طف, طفف, okay, these are linguistics. I can't exactly explain them in English. When you've done the khasiyatul abwab and the various khasiyat, so to speak, then you understand. Generally, if you take it into English, 1, 2, 3, 4 all mean the same thing. Tifaf and tafaf and tafu and tafafu. English can't give you an understanding of it because it will translate them all the same way. So anyway, so he's explaining from so I'm going to skip those ones. Like I say, one day when you do the khasiyatul abwab, then you can remember all of these things and it will make a bit more sense to you, inshallah. But until then, let's move on. He says, in a hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, كلكم بنو Adam. All of you are the sons of Hadrat Adam alayhi salam. طف الصاع لم تملؤوه. طف الصاع لم تملؤوه, which would literally means لم تملؤوه means you cannot fill. So طف الصاع, what exactly does this mean? So he explains. He says, وهو أن يقرب أن يمتلئ فلا يفعل, means it's something that it's close to full, but he hasn't done it. So he says, what is the meaning? بعضكم قريب من بعض. Some of you are close to others. So فليس لأحد, it's not for anyone. على أحد فضل, so no one has any virtue over another one except إلا بالتقوى, except through taqwa. If you read the words above with the tafa and all those sort of things, you wouldn't get what's being spoken about. We all know فليس لأحد على أحد فضل إلا بالتقوى. We know that famous hadith with those outright explicit common words that we use, but he's just simply showing how linguistically this word mutaffifin has its various usages. والطفاف والطفافة بالضم ما فوق المكيال وإناء طفان إذا بلغ الكيل طفافه تقول منه أطففت والتطفيف نقص المكيال وهو ألا تملأه إلى أصباره أي جوانبه. Okay. It's a lot of linguistics once again, but let's look at what he's saying anyway. He says tufaf and tufafa with a dhamma, not tafa. We're not doing with the fatha over here, which shows we did it as tifaf, we did tafaf, we did tufaf. If you're looking at it without harakat on, it looks like it's all the same thing. But from a deeper Arabic perspective, there are differences between them all. So he says, what is tufaf with a dhamma? It means that which is ma fawqa al-mikyal, what is above the scale. He says, وَإِنَاءٌ طَفَّانٌ, when you speak about a container which is طَفَّان, إِذَا بَلَغَ الْكَيْلُ طَفَافَهُ, meaning that when you say the container is tafan, it means when the container has been filled, that what is in it has reached its sides. تقول منه أطففت. Okay, same thing. He says, if you, as far as تطفيف is concerned, it means نقص المكيال, to steal from the measurement. So وهو ألا تملأ إلى أصباره أي جوانبه. So when you use the word تطفيف, it means to lessen the amount that you're actually putting on the scale, in the sense that you don't fill it to its brim, to the sides, its jawanib. So it's supposed to, you're supposed to fill it, let's put it this way, in the proper olden time scales. Nowadays, everybody with electronic scales, but when you got the original weight type scales, then you have various sized scales like that. So if it's the kg one or the this one or that one, so you can, let's put it this way, if you were to put liquid in it, so this is a 200 ml scale on the side. So when you pour 200 ml inside it of water, obviously mercury is maybe a liquid, but it's much heavier. But anyway, so you pour the thing, and when it reaches the brim, it's 200 ml, for example. So anyway, I don't know why I'm even bringing all these weird examples. But anyway, so he says, يقال أدهقت الكأس إلى أصبارها أي إلى رأسها. Now he's using the asbar to explain what it means. He says that I fill the cup إلى أصبارها, until it's asbar, which means إلى رأسها, till the brim, as we would say in English. إلى رأسها means until its head, but in English we call it till the brim of the glass. I fill the glass to its brim. So in other words, وقول ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما حين ذكر أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سبق بين الخيل كنت فارسا يومئذ فسبقت الناس حتى طفف بي الفرس مسجد بني زريق حتى كاد يساوي المسجد, يعني وثب بي. Okay, so he explains now the various usages again of the word طفف يطفف تطفيف. He says that from the linguistic perspective, you find it in using the words of Hazrat Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma when he was mentioning the narration of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam racing amongst the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum on the horses. So Hazrat Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma, he said that I was a farisan, I was a horseman. So I also took part in the race. حتى طفف بي الفرس مسجد بني زريق, until طفف بي, the horse fell short with me close to the masjid of Bani Zurayq. حتى كاد يساوي المسجد, until it was close to the masjid, and then in other words the other one beat him before he reached there. So Tafa bi al-faras is what is. Anyway, linguistics all over here. Like I said, the point being, simply put, that there is some deficiency taking place. You're supposed to give so much, and you're giving a lesser amount. So he's using from a linguistic perspective to show how the various other various methods you can use the same word. But anyway. Okay, now we go to the next point, page 131. الرابعة المطفف هو الذي يخسر في الكيل والوزن لا يوفي حسب ما بيناه. He says the fourth topic you wanted to bring up is the mutafif. A mutafif is the one who cuts and weighs short when it comes to weight and measure. La yufi, he doesn't fulfill the way it should be fulfilled. حسب ما بيناه, as we have already previously explained. وروى ابن القاسم عن مالك رحمه الله أنه قرأ ويل للمطففين فقال لا تطفف ولا تخلب ولكن أرسل وصب عليه صبا حتى إذا استوى أرسل يدك ولا تمسك. وقال عبد الملك بن الماجشون نهى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن مسح الطفاف وقال إن البركة في رأسه. وقال وبلغني أن كيل فرعون كان مسحا بالحديدة. Okay, so he mentions Imam Ibn al-Qasim mentions a narrate from Imam Malik rahimahullah that he read the ayah وَيْلُ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ, and he says لا تطفف ولا تخلب. Okay, he says, لا تطفف ولا تخلب. Don't fall short in your weight and measure, and don't deceive people either. But أرسل وصب عليه صبا. That, but rather, do things properly, fill things the way it should be. حتى إذا استوى, until it, in other words, when you are weighing on your scale, whether you're weighing with your 5 kg on the side and your wheat on the side, or whatever the case may be, you know how the olden time scales work. Nowadays, we don't really see this in practice anymore because, like I say, we don't exactly use these things in a Western world perspective. We just say if we need to use a scale, it's an electronic one. You just throw something on and it gives you a weight. If you're in the kitchen and you need to know, I need 80 grams of butter, just take it and throw it on your scale, and there you go. You don't take a 80-gram a piece of thing, put him in your scale, and then take your knife and cut off a piece of butter and put him on the other side and see that he weighs out, that it aligns. We don't do those things. So, it's not so applicable in our lives from this perspective. So it's not that it's not applicable. It's just that we don't have that much live experience with it in that sense. But anyway, so أرسل يدك ولا تمسك. Let it be full. Don't hold something back. Now, you can pull that little bit of grains out of there. I can add it together towards the next one. So I gave him 9.8 kg. I kept 200 gram without him noticing. Who's going to notice that extra little bit? That sort of thing. So Imam Abdul Malik ibn al-Majishun, he says that he's now Imam Ibn al-Majishun. There's actually a couple who have the same name. But anyway, we can get into who he is at a later stage in time, because otherwise I'll be telling stories all night. But any case, so coming back to where we are, it's not magician, Majishun. He said Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam prohibited an mashi tufaf, and he said, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Inna al-barakata fi ra'sihi," that the barakah is in the top. Don't, in other words, if you take it in this way, don't try and steal things from the edges, but let things be filled the way it should be filled. Like I said, now a person who works in a kitchen, you understand these sort of things. You are supposed to weigh out a certain amount. 1 cup of sugar. Now you come and you take a smaller cup, for example, or you take the cup and you don't fill him to the brim that it should be. If you're making cake or whatever sort of thing, you feel it at the end of the day when the cake or whatever, or your crumpets or whatever comes out, and then the taste is not the same because you cut down on the sugar. The texture is too runny because you cut down on the flour, because you left that little bit and you didn't fill it to the brim that you should have. So anyway, that sort of thing. But anyway, that's a different point. I'm just speaking from my side as opposed to in al-barakata fi ra'si, that the barakah is in taking it to its full, the way it should be. And he mentioned that وَبَلَغَنِي أَنَّ كَيْلَ فِرْعَوْنَ كَانَ مَسْحًا بِالْحَدِيدَ. Okay, so in the time of Fir'aun, they used to weigh with hadida, not hadidas. Hadidas are these big birds that we find around here in South Africa, all over the place. But in this case here, it's referring to the metal scales that used to be used and not South African birds. Anyway, so he says, قُولُوا تَعَالَى الَّذِينَ إِذَا اكْتَالُوا عَلَى النَّاسِ يَسْتَوْفُونَ. Those إِذَا اكْتَالُوا عَلى النَّاسِ يَسْتَوْفُونَ. This is now the إذا اكتالوا على الناس يستوفون. When they have people weigh out things for them, يستوفون. I want my full, make certain, that you come for a box of the, you find this also. A man may come, you buying from a hawker in the street, he's selling a box of tomatoes, he's selling a bag of potatoes over there, and then the bag is full, or the box is full, and you're like, throw those extra tomatoes inside there as well, throw those extra potatoes. You've gone over 10 kg, you like, make sure you, even if you're not going over 10 kg, but you like, make certain I want all of that inside there. That last 4 grains of rice there, it's mine, throw it inside. That bone that fell out of that piece of meat over there, throw him, is mine also. You go to that extent when it's for you. قال الفراء أي من الناس يقال أكتلت منك أي استوفيت منك، ويقال اكتلت عليك أي أخذت ما عليك. وقال الزجاج أي إذا اكتالوا من الناس استوفوا عليهم الكيل. والمعنى الذين إذا استوفوا أخذوا الزيادة، وإذا أوفوا أو وزنوا لغيرهم نقصوا، فلا يرضون للناس ما يرضون لأنفسهم. الطبري على بمعنى عنده. Okay, so he's now explaining. He says, Imam al-Farra said, from the people, they are those who, when they get their goods weighed by others, yastawfun. He says, okay, now speaking linguistics, iktaltu minka means istawfaytu minka, that I seek to have you fulfill my rights. ويقال iktaltu alayka ay akhadtu ma alayka, I am taking that which is due for me upon you. In other words, give me my due, in other words. So Imam al-Zajjaj, he explains linguistically, he says, إِذَا اكْتَالُوا عَلَى مِنَ النَّاسِ, they are, when they, these mutaffifin, when they go now to people to weigh out for them, you're coming to buy your sugar, your potatoes, your tomatoes, your meat, whatever the case may be, istawfu alayhimul kayl. They see, I'm watching you on that measurement there, don't you dare steal that 2 grains from me, I want my full amount. You know, I ordered 2 liters, make sure you fill that bottle till the brim. You know, you're not going to come and cut that little bit of air until the top. I want it full. You go to that extent. So he goes further. He says, وَالْمَعْنَى الَّذِينَ إِذَا اسْتَوْفُوا أَخَذُوا الزِّيَادَةَ. That when somebody else is weighing out for you, you go overboard. Like you want more than what is even due to you. Like I said, it's one thing for... Okay, two actually aspects over here. Number one is if you are cutting people short already, and then you want that your right must be fulfilled. So you're going to give them 9.5 kg, but they must give you the full 10 kg potatoes. That's one angle. This is mutaffifin as well. It's wrong. The second type is when, you know, you are, maybe maybe for example, you are not cutting them short. You're giving them their 10 kg, but when it comes to you, then you want, I want 10.5 kg over there. Don't come give me this. Yeah, why does it look so less? And you put it on the scale, but it's like already 10 kg. Can't you just throw those extras inside it? And let's be honest, we all know people who do these sort of things. So, you know, إذا استوفوا أخذوا زيادة. They take more. I'm not satisfied with you just giving me this. I want more than just this. وإذا أوفوا أو وزنوا لغيرهم نقصوا. So, but when they are required now to fulfill for other people to weigh or measure, then نقصوا. They fall short in doing so. فلا يرضون للناس ما يرضون لأنفسهم. So they are not pleased for the people, but what they are pleased for their own selves. I want to have my everything. I want my rights. You know, one of the advices I always tend to give for people in marriage: focus on the rights of your spouse, not your right. Same with children and parents. Focus on the rights of others. Same with employer and employee. Focus on fulfilling the rights of others. Don't focus on your rights. This is one of the biggest things that leads to disruptions in life, when the wife is like, I want my rights, and the husband is like, I want my rights, and the parents are like, I want my rights. Children are like, what's my right? Everybody's only wanting their rights, but nobody's fulfilling the rights of others. In reality, a lot of people are mutaffifin in this way too. So فلا يرضون للناس ما يرضون لأنفسهم. They are not pleased that the people must have that which they want for themselves. In other words, a Muslim is one who يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. He loves for his brother that which he loves for himself. But you are not that way. You want, I must have the full amount, but I don't want you must have the full amount. Maybe go to somebody else and let him give you full, but don't come here by me and expect full. If I give you 1.8 liters, be happy. If you come to have the 200 rands petrol put in your car, I'll fill my bottle and then I'll put the balance in your car, and it's like, be grateful, I'm giving you still some petrol. You know, so anyway, so he says, Imam al-Tabari, he says, على إذا اكتالوا على الناس, yeah, means إذا اكتالوا عند الناس, when they are seeking to have their goods weighed, يستوفون, they want it weighed out in full. Okay, so he goes further. قوله تعالى وإذا كالوهم أو وزنوهم يخسرون. When they weigh or measure, they cut short the amount that they should be given. So he says فيه مسألتان. There's two مسائل in here that he wants to discuss. الأولى قوله تعالى وإذا كالوهم أو وزنوهم أي كالوا لهم أو وزنوا لهم فحذفت اللام فتعدى الفعل فنصب ومثله نصحتك ونصحت لك وأمرتك به وأمرتكه قاله الأخفش والفراء. Okay, now he's speaking purely from a linguistic perspective. The first thing he says, when Allah says وَإِذَا كَالُوهُمْ أَوْ وَزَنُوهُمْ أي كالوا لهم أو وزنوا لهم. Normal speech we would say it in this way. كالوهم literally means when they weigh them, or wazanuhum, they measure them, but it means weigh for them or measure for them. You're not taking your customer and you're taking him and putting him on your scale. You're not weighing him, but you are weighing for him. But Allah cuts out, and we do it in English and every other language as well, where we don't mention a word when we can do without it in the sentence, then we just don't mention it. So he says the lam, kalu lahum, kalu lahum, kaluhum, wazanu lahum, wazanuhum. So it's just showing linguistically the lam is cut out, so that is why it's kaluhum. Yeah. Okay, now we're using linguistics. Nasahtuka or nasahtu laka. Nasahtuka, I have given you advice. Nasahtu laka, I've given advice to you. Amartuka bihi, amartukahu. Same thing he's mentioned. Imam al-Akhfash, and Imam al-Farra, they mentioned this. So it's simply showing that Arabic speaking, if you said nasahtu laka or nasahtuka, both of them are one and the same. You can say it's 6 or half a dozen. At the end of the day, it's the same thing. So kaluhum or kalu lahum boils out to the same thing, is what he's saying. قال الفراء وسمعت أعرابية تقول إذا صدر الناس أتينا التاجر فيكيلنا المد والمدين إلى الموسم المقبل. قال وهو من كلام أهل الحجاز ومن جاورهم من قيس. Okay, Imam al-Farra, he said that I heard an Arabiya, a Bedouin woman speaking. Now, you know, generally people tend to have this sort of idea that Bedouins were a bunch of dumb nomads. That's the general concept that the Western world tend to put out. But where the Arabic and stuff like this are concerned, the Arabis, the Bedouins, were actually high-class people, let's put it this way. They were coarse, yes, in the sense that they're not so used to dealing with people as much as the city dwellers. But from a linguistic perspective, when the people used to wonder, how is this word used? They would go to the Bedouins. The Bedouins were like, they weren't exactly the lettered people. They weren't focused on reading and writing, but they preserved everything by memory. That's why when the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, those like Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, and the ulama who came later on who were focused on linguistics, when they needed to know something, those were the type of people that you would ask, those Bedouins out there. That's the one thing. Oh yes, besides the other benefits that the Arabis also had, which was if you needed your children to be raised with valor and strength and courage and bravery and everything of the sort, they would also give them to be raised by Bedouins. That's what was the norm back in the day. Nowadays, you're not exactly going to go be giving your child to some crackpot who hides in, lives in a well, and you know, those sort of things today, because in these countries where we live, you don't exactly have Arabis. Anyway, so we heard an Arabi woman saying, إِذَا صَدَرَ النَّاسُ أَتَيْنَا التَّاجِرَ فَيَكِيلُنَا الْمُدَّ وَالْمُدَّيْنِ إِلَى الْمَوْسِمِ الْمُقْبِلِ. So he was simply showing how he heard this Bedouin woman saying that when the tajir, the businessman comes to us, fayakiluna, not fayakilu lana. So he's just showing how from the speech of the Bedouins, which was regarded as the highest of high class, eloquent speech, and they used the term fayakiluna, not fayakilulana, whereas the norm would be fayakilulana. They measured out for us, but they measured us a mud and one or two muds ila al-mawsim al-muqbil, to the next season. Next time when I come by, I'll pick up my money. But anyway, the sentence is unimportant. It's fayakiluna. The for this word is why he brings the sentence to show that all the years from pre-Islam times, the word is used in this manner. Now, what is the reason for all of this? It's to show, was to show also that, amongst the mushrikeen of Makkah, they focused a lot on linguistics and eloquence and stuff like this. And if the Quran had any linguistic deficiencies, they would have jumped on it like a pack of hyenas. But they could find not a single inaccuracy in the Quran. So even they were forced to say, this is the most eloquent of eloquent speech. And that's basically now why the Ai brought out all of these points to show, because while those mushrikeen and those people who were well versed in Arabic, they died out, you ended up having these type of Coptics and all these type of Christians of today who don't know an alif from a ba, but they also want to have things and say, here's a mistake in the Quran, and you're like, you can't even read Arabic, what are you talking about? So anyway, that was he says it is from the kalam, the speech of the people of Hijaz and those who live around them from the tribe of Qais. So anyway, so he was just simply showing that to say kaluhum is 100% eloquent, accurate, pure Arabic speech. It's not some cheap thing that, like we call it English or kitchen English and all these sort of things. We throw in any type of words here and there, not at all. In the Quran, when Allah used kaluhum or wazanuhum in this way, instead of kalulahum or wazanu lahum, the fact that Allah put it this way shows also the absolute eloquence of the Quran. It's not just some random words. Oh, okay, let's throw it in any old how. Not at all. So anyway, that's the linguistics behind that point over there. And our time is just about run out. I do not know why. Have we been having class for so long tonight, or have I just been waffling on a whole lot of topics? But anyway, nonetheless, our time unfortunately has expired, and before that class kicks us out because of time being done, we will stop on this point here for tonight, inshallah ta'ala, and next week we will continue on from قال الزجاج رحمه الله. One thing I will mention, we are currently on the, okay, we're still early in June, we're only on the 13th of June, but from the current trajectory, it is, from what I can tell of the age of the moon, by the time we are here on the 30th of June this year, the moon should be, if I'm not mistaken, about 36 hours old or so here in South Africa. So the likelihood of seeing the moon will be quite high, which would mean that the 1st of July would end up being the 1st of Dhul Hijjah, which would make the 10th of July, Sunday the 10th of July, as the most likely day for Eid al-Adha. So when we reach the end of June and the moon is indeed sighted, okay, actually whether the moon is sighted or not sighted doesn't matter, because it's at most 1 day difference. But in any case, so from the 1st of July till the 15th of July will be our holidays. I suppose you can call it our mid-year holidays. We don't exactly have June holidays, but we've got Dhul Hijjah holidays. So for those who intend fasting during those first 9 days, for those who are traveling, whatever, and obviously then for the day of Eid as well, and the Ayyam al-Tashriq. So, for they are ayyamu aklin wa shurb, as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, they are days of eating and drinking. So the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, those the Yawm al-Nahr and the ayyamu tashriq are the days that it's prohibited to fast, together with obviously the 5th day being Eid al-Fitr, 5 days of the year which are haram to fast. But anyway, our time is just about up, but what I meant is just simply 1st to 15th of July will be holiday. We will continue on until the end of June, inshallah ta'ala. But that being said, we end on this point here. Until next time, we end and we say, wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina Muhammad, subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa